Hi, Helen. So welcome to hashtag Lee Rogers Meets. I really appreciate you joining me on this sunny, if not cold morning. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Lee. Thank you very much for inviting me on to speak today.
Honestly, the person that sprung to mind, I was thinking like, because I'm just launching this on a YouTube channel actually, and it's right in its infancy. But I was like, who inspired me and who gave me a huge amount of energy and was just an absolute joy to work with. And you sprung to mind. I was like, we've got to get Helen Kimber on.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
Honestly, kind of blew me away in that sense. And you know what? It was you, because you came in and did a nutrition session at work, and it wasn't actually what you talked about. It was the energy and the way that you did it that I was bowled over.
Oh, that's good. Well, it's nice to know that I have an impact on some people, and that's the reason, in a way, why I set up doing what I do. I set up Hero Lifestyle as a nutritionist because I really want to impact people's lives to help them have lead healthier and happier lives. And being really cheesy, my strapline is be your own hero, but that's what I want people to do, to inspire themselves. And if I can help them on that little journey along the way, then I feel I've done my job.
Oh, you definitely have. And I know you had a huge amount of impact with, not just myself, but, a considerable number of people that went through kind of the technical stuff that you do within nutrition, which is amazing. Just tell me a little bit though about you and I guess your career, because you've got an interesting journey.
Okay, so I've always had a massive interest in nutrition, particularly, and in the human body, how that this amazing machine that we've got, that we give so much grief to, and we just expect it to keep working. And I've always had a huge interest from a very young age, and I've always been interested in cooking and things like that. And I went to I did home economics when it was called home economics at school. Went on to sixth form college and did A levels in that. Went on to do a degree in nutrition and catering, and then moved on into the nutrition industry. I did some work for a couple of companies as sort of a nutritionist, doing quite a lot of education. I then moved into for quite a few years being a food and nutrition teacher in a secondary school, and then, like I say, it was 2018, had a bit of a light bulb moment, and decided to pursue my passion, because I wasn't getting any younger. No one else can do anything for you. You have to make the move. Stop moaning about your lot and get on with it. So I put my big girl pants on and set up, put the wheels in motion and set up Hero Lifestyle. And so it was born in March, April 2019. So it's 2 years old this year.
Amazing. And how courageous was it for you to shift from doing a teaching role and into, as you described it, putting your big girl pants on?
Lots of people say, wow, that's a brave move, because, like I've said to lots of people before, when I was explaining to some of my work colleagues when I was leaving, they were going, oh, what about your pension? And what about this? And I'm like, actually, no, your pension is a long way away. Even for someone sort of in their 50s, your pension is still a long way away. 10 or 15 years is a long time when you're not happy in your work. And so I didn't think it was that courageous, but then I suppose it is. Jumping from a full-time, full pension, holiday pay career into the unknown, but it's the best move I've ever made. I'm really, really happy, and my wings aren't clipped. and it's very interesting when you look at what happens with work, and how you if you know you're doing a good job, and there's lots of analysis in lots of businesses and in education, where you have to fill in lots of paper and do lots of paperwork to check if people are making progress. And one of the biggest things for me, when I know that I'm doing a really good job, I don't need to fill out lots of forms and check progress and things. And I do understand that that does have to be done to some degree in order to maintain efficiencies. But when I get a client saying to me, and I'll quote someone from the other day, "You've given me the knowledge and the power to control my food rather than letting the food control me." I know without asking her to fill out a questionnaire that I've done a good job. And another thing, I teach yoga. I've practiced yoga for 30 years, and I'm a yoga teacher and also a personal trainer. And before lockdown, I was invited to a football club to do some yoga. It was Preston North End, but it was with their disability group. And so I did a yoga class with there must have been about 40 adults of different age, of varying disabilities. And the sheer joy that I got out of that, watching those people practice yoga, and the joy on their faces, I didn't need to fill out any forms to know that they had had a really good yoga class. And that's it really.
And it's, I totally, I think in my terms, I call that kind of intrinsic motivation.
Yeah.
So, and actually what does that give me, or what does that give you in that instance back? So if you go, what's my reward system? Is it the big pension, or is it that feeling, that knowing that it's what value do I add?
Yes. Yeah.
It is the simple way. If I, for example, didn't feel like I was adding value, I'd stop. And when I was teaching early on in my career, the thing I said is, if I ever, and I think this about anything actually, if I ever think that I've mastered it, it's time to give up. So that you almost go on to the next, be curious then about how you then can go on to the next thing, really.
Absolutely. And particularly with yoga, nutrition and fitness, there's that you're always learning. I'm running a 6-week nutrition intensive course at the moment, just with a really small group of people. And it's doing me the world of good, because I'm sharing my nutritional knowledge with them once a week and sending them all the slides. And then I'm looking at the latest information that's coming through, because information does change quite dramatically with nutrition. The human body doesn't change a great deal. We're still cavemen and women, and our physiology doesn't change, but the science behind our physiology can change. There's new ideas and new ways of maintaining health and well-being. And yeah, I'm always on a massive learning curve, and I absolutely love that. Or revising things that you haven't looked at for a while. And so nutrition is such a huge subject. I can't keep everything in my head, so I look at things and revise things, and yeah, sharing information with people and knowing that they have taken something away and helping them on their journey gives me I suppose my why.
Great. So and I'm, I think we've spoken in the past. Purpose is so important. If you've got your purpose, you've got your why, everything else kind of takes care of itself in some regard.
I completely agree with that. Yeah, definitely. And so I work with all different people with nutrition, like the way I met you was doing the seminar, and then that's had a knock-on effect. I've met more people through that. I've been doing some other corporate seminars, and it's little baby steps. with everything, with both my business, but baby steps, but also the people I work with. You don't suddenly wake up in the morning and suddenly become really, really healthy and well, having had nutritional issues, be it weight issues, digestive issues, skin issues. It's little baby steps. And I think if you can do those little baby steps and look back each day at what little tiny things you've achieved, it's much easier than to look way into the future and have this huge, great big mountain to climb.
Yeah, and just to share my story, some people within that very thing actually is some people know, like last year, I spent the whole year focused on losing 4 stone, 4 pounds. So that was the big mountain, if you like. And I had the goal and the target of getting rid of the big mountain. How I was going to do that, though, I wasn't sure, right? And I did it kind of baby steps. I think if I'm really truly honest, though, is I've still got a way to go in terms of the nutrition, the food, the drink side of it. Because what I've done is I over-indexed, if you like, on terms of the physical activity to get me to the starting block, if you like. And now in terms of what I'm really curious around is what does the maintenance of that look like, and how can I, reintroduce alcohol? So I gave up alcohol for a year to give myself the best possible chance, but it went back down to purpose actually. So it's thinking about how do I want to be around longer as a husband and as a dad.
Yeah.
So every time I went to the fridge, it was a really kind of, do you want to be around longer as a dad? It was like, yeah, okay, well, don't go and eat that rubbish. And then as we've talked about, it's okay to eat certain things and be mindful of it. But it was that I needed that hack or that almost question in the moment to challenge my behaviour.
But that's what you've done, Lee, is a really a powerful way of changing your mindset and your behaviour around food, rather than going on a diet because you want to lose weight. So you've looked at the much bigger picture of the long-term, sort of the long-term health. And yes, okay, you've said you did it through doing lots of exercise, which can put a lot of stress on the body, and we've talked about stress on that workshop, so that sort of probably give you a bit of a light bulb moment as well with regards to carbohydrate metabolism, etc. But if you can look at your behavior change and having a healthy relationship with food rather than constantly counting calories, and again with lots of my clients who I see who do come to me who want to have help with weight loss, I say to them, I'm not going to put you on a diet. We're not going to clap and have a round of applause when you get on the scales and you've lost 2 pounds in weight, because that is rewarding weight loss. That's not rewarding the behavior that you have changed in order to achieve that weight loss. And weight loss is dead easy because you can go on a diet and restrict yourself. But as soon as that diet stops and your behavior changes back to norm, then that is how it creeps back on again. So what you're doing is having a complete change in your attitude to food, and the bigger picture for you is long-term health, not that number on the scales.
Yeah, and look, I'm definitely not good at all right. And it's a continuing journey.
Curve.
Yeah, it's a continuing journey. Hey, so what's been one of the challenges in your career then that you've had to overcome?
In regards to my business now, or generally my career?
Just generally in your career, is there any challenges that you think, you know what, that was tough?
I think the last few years of teaching was tough, and because of, again, I think it was the bureaucracy, and my wings were really clipped, and I'm a bit more of a free spirit, so I had to be mindful of what I said and how I said it, and I found that really quite difficult. So that was a challenge, and the challenge wasn't giving up my career, my teaching, and what I did, and it was for me to draw a line in the sand. When you give up your career in teaching, you have to give 3 months notice as you used to teach, but I gave 5 months notice because I needed to know for me that was my I had to put that line in the sand. So that was quite a challenge. And then I think the other challenge, but I've more or less managed to overcome it, I think was for lots of people the beginning of the COVID pandemic and lockdown. And suddenly, for someone who'd been used to, I had a nutrition clinic at a spa hotel. I taught some yoga classes, only in a couple of places, in a couple of studios, did some fitness classes for little studios. And, all my nutrition and my business was based around visiting places. And suddenly that stopped. And it was like, oh no, what's going to happen? And so again, I had to have a complete massive learning curve about how to work with Teams or Zoom and do things like looking at my website, working out how that works with things. And again, I've managed it. And now I'm not going to start going back to a room in a nutrition clinic. I have it's really opened the world up for me. I have a client in Qatar. I have a couple of nutrition clients in the USA. I have nutrition clients up and down the country. So that has made a massive change. So although it was a challenge, I think I addressed the challenge head on, and it's worked in favour for me.
Well, it's great. It's great to hear kind of some positives out of what has been a difficult situation for a huge number of people. And I think obviously people. I find it hard in some ways to go, actually, lockdown or COVID has done me well in some regard. Just really mindful, I guess. NHS, it goes without saying, have done an amazing job.
Yeah.
The people that have lost loved ones, it's been a really difficult time. People are homeschooling at the moment. It's tough. People on their own. It's tough. There's as much things that have been tough, but that's not to decry. Actually, there's absolute chance for innovation and change through this. And I think what I've heard you just say is actually, I've been curious around how we flip this and how we can make it work really well.
Yeah, and I things like, for example, I know for a fact, Lee, if COVID hadn't have happened, you and I wouldn't have met. And it's little things like that, isn't it? I've met some amazing people through COVID. And that's that people who I would never have connected with because the world has become a smaller place. And we've had to embrace the technology that's available. Don't get me wrong, I can't wait to be able to go out on a bike ride and stop and have a coffee and a scone as big as my head from a coffee shop and stuff like that. Or when you're going out for a walk and you think, oh, I just fancy a pub lunch or something. I'm really looking forward to things like that, and for things to get back to some sort of normal, whatever normal is going to be. But also, I have tried myself to look on the positives of it and what I can do to make it work for me and my clients. And for many of my nutrition clients, it's more beneficial for them to be in their comfort of their own home, talking to me about their nutritional concerns, and even little things like the other day I was with a client. I said, hang on, I'll go to the cupboard and I'll show you what I use. So you nip downstairs, go to the kitchen cupboard, get out whatever, it was my jar of seeds, and was explaining to her about those. And that would never happen in a nutrition clinic.
Well, there you go. It's genuinely fascinating stuff. So what if you were to give people one piece of free nutritional advice, what would it be?
Gosh, that's a tough one, Lee. I would say one piece, because everybody is unique, everybody's different, so different foods suit different people. I would say don't ever go on one of these faddy diets that give you false hope.
Brilliant. And if people want to know more, we'll put the details in the post when we post this, so that they can contact you if they want to.
Yeah, I will. I have a policy that I will speak to anybody who wants some nutrition advice, be it gastrointestinal problems, skin issues, anything, weight issues, or anything. I will spend 20 minutes to half an hour with them, talking to them and trying to give them a little bit of guidance, to see, and then to see if they do want to do to sign up with me for, you know, what, a one-off session or a couple of sessions or 4 sessions. Do you know what I mean? And again, it depends on the individual and what their issues are, and talk to them about what functional testing I do and all sorts of things. So yeah, they can have a chat to me and then see that would be really good.
20 minutes free chat with you, like what's not to love about that, right? Amazing.
Oh,
really appreciate your time today, Helen.
Thank you, Lee.
It's a joy as always.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Helen.
Take care.
You too. Bye.